You'll find them roaming all over, untamed. Some of them have owners, others don't.
Ikikuuma wewe ni hivyo. Either ni mgonjwa au sio mgonjwa.
But there are those who know why better life for dogs is important.
Nakuya mapupa, ile nimekula soup fresh na ile miguu ya ng'ombe.
Hizo mbwa mimi sikudanganya, hizo mbwa zimetusaidia huko. Zinakimbizanga hata zimeangusha watu wa pikipiki wakijaribu kuiba.
Just how should dogs be handled? What are the dangers of stray dogs?
The number one risk, of course, is attacks from these dogs.
Rabies is not curable, and this is a disease that can be prevented simply by making sure our dogs are vaccinated every year.
Yes, better life for dogs. That's the focus of our show today. And we go out of the ordinary to discuss how these canines should be handled and why it's important for all of us. And we will focus on Kawangware, informal settlements, and its environs as our case study. Welcome, I'm your host, Alex Chamwada, and we begin with our fact sheet segment.
According to the Constitution of Kenya, the national government is responsible for the protection of animals and wildlife, but county governments are responsible for animal husbandry, animal control, and welfare. In Nairobi County, there is a law that is specific to dog handling. It is known as the Nairobi City County Dog Control and Welfare Act of 2015. It seeks to license all dogs within the city boundaries. It is a public health measure that seeks to ensure all dogs are vaccinated against rabies, which globally is considered one of the most fatal zoonotic diseases. According to the new city regulations, vaccination is now a key consideration for anyone who wants to keep any pet. At the moment, all unlicensed dogs are regarded as stray, and the city county has the authority to eradicate them. The act also clearly defines kenneling and caging of dogs, which may or may not be inspected by the city county, but must meet habitable standards. With regards to dog barking, the law stipulates that any person whose dog barks for more than 6 minutes within an hour will be fined 5,000 Kenya shillings. Currently, there are no official statistics on the population of dogs in Kenya, as this was not considered in the last national population census. For the Chamwada Report, I'm Michael Zimanji.
Man's best friend, but are human beings treating the animal friendly? With Kawangware as a case study, one easily comes across roaming dogs during the day and at night. Some of the area residents told us that they've learned to live with the roaming carnivores as friends.
Mpaka tuziangalia hata ukikuja kukula keja kobambo na zipe. Hizo mbwa mimi sikudanganya, hizo mbwa zimetusaidia huko. Zinakimbizanga hata zimeangusha watu wa pikipiki wakijaribu kuiba.
However, there are those who see the dogs as a menace.
Hizi umbwa asionagi daktari. Juu ni umbwa ya kurandaranda. Ikikuuma wewe ni hivyo. Either ni mgonjwa au sio mgonjwa. Wewe utabeba hiyo mzigo peke yako. Ni vyema siodolewe.
In the neighboring Dagoretti area near the slaughterhouse, there are many roaming dogs too. Here we are told the population is high because the dogs have access to leftovers from the slaughterhouses. Peter Chalo is a dog owner. He says although his dogs roam around, they are well taken care of.
Hata ile ugali nakula napika. Nikiona inaanza kelele najuanga iko na njaa. Kwa hivyo hata mimi nasema iongezewe nini? Ugali. Iongezewe maji ya ugali fresh. So which ikiulizwa kwa nini inaongezewa fresh badala ya kununulia ni mapupa huko. Nakuya mapupa. Ile nimekula soup fresh na ile miguu ya ng'ombe. Sasa ingine nasanya na kuja. Sasa hiyo ugali nikiipatia anaweza tengeza kasupu kidogo nichanganyishie. Kwa hivyo kila moja naiwekea kando.
He keeps the dogs for security.
Hapa kuna na wizi mingi sana. Hata saa nyingine mchana kama uko na kuku zako umefungia unaweza zitokea zimeibiwa.
And Abraham Otieno, a garage operator in Kawangware, says he keeps the dogs for company and security.
We treat them normally on a monthly basis. Yeah, have one of the guys come from daycare dealing with dogs. So he normally comes for vaccinations and just normal checking in monthly basis.
Diana Onyango, the executive officer of the Kenya Society for the Protection and Care of Animals, a charity organization that works on upholding the welfare of animals, says most roaming dogs or stray dogs have their owners.
These animals end up in the streets as a result of irresponsible ownership. If we had people who are responsible dog owners, responsible cat owners, we wouldn't have so many stray animals.
But what are the risks that come with poor management of dogs?
The number one risk, of course, is attacks from these dogs, because if you find a dog that is, a dog that is unfamiliar to you, and you're also unfamiliar to the dog, if you approach the animal, it could be maybe you're just passing by it, and it feels threatened, it would naturally react and it would try and attack you.
The most dreaded risk that comes with dog bites is the risk of contracting rabies, a viral disease that affects the brain.
Rabies is not curable because rabies will kill you within 10 days once you start showing symptoms. I mean, cases happen almost every day in this country. As a unit, we have tracked cases in areas like Siaya. We've followed people who were bitten by dogs, and then they got sick, got admitted in the hospital, and they died.
Dog bites are common in crowded areas and rural areas where the population of dogs is high.
Kenya is regarded as a rabies endemic country, meaning that we always have the virus circulating within the population of dogs in our country. So research shows that we have approximately 2,000 rabies deaths in Kenya every year. And this is from active surveillance studies. Our surveillance system gives a much less figure. And this is because rabies is a neglected disease that mainly affects people who are poor.
But it is not just through a dog bite that one can get rabies.
What matters is the exposure on the skin. So because the rabies virus infects you when it gets the nerves. So the exposure on the skin, it can happen even from a scratch or from a leak of an exposed skin. So the virus is normally in the saliva of the dog or a cat, and when you're bitten or you're licked, that virus now gets into your body. So when this happens, there are three things that we advise people to do. The first thing is to wash the wound. This is the most important first aid upon a dog bite. Washing the wound for 10 to 15 minutes with water and possibly soap or iodine, whichever is available. If those are not available, water alone. But that alone is not enough. From there, you have to go to the hospital or the health center where you can get now the rabies vaccine. It has to be given immediately after a bite. Because if people delay to get the vaccine, then this virus can get into the nerve. And once it gets the nerve, it will move slowly to the brain. So depending on where you are bitten, if you're bitten close to the brain, then that happens really fast.
Experts say the solution to the risks lies in better lives for dogs, meaning if dogs are treated better, human beings would live with them without any fear. And all that is linked to animal rights, or what is known as animal freedoms, and dogs are no exception. Tennyson Williams, the director of the Africa Office of World Animal Protection, expounds on the animal freedoms the organization and other stakeholders are advocating for.
If you have a dog, please be prepared to feed that dog. Be prepared to provide comfortable shelter for the dog.
Yes, freedom from hunger and thirst. And dogs need not just food, but a balanced diet. The other freedoms are freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, or disease, freedom to express normal behavior, and freedom from fear and distress.
Every dog comes from somewhere. Somebody has reneged on their responsibility, because there are several reasons why a dog will end up being stray. Yeah, but many a time they are own dogs. They have gone to the streets because of irresponsible behavior. They go look for food. They go away because they are not being treated well.
Most dog owners in Kenya do not take vaccination of the animals seriously. But stakeholders are emphasizing that dogs should be vaccinated once every year against rabies and other diseases.
And for us to eliminate rabies, make sure that there's no rabies in Kenya, we have to vaccinate at least 70% of all dogs, at least for 3 years consecutively. So we have a rabies elimination strategy that really advises the need to make sure that every single dog is vaccinated. And we call upon the county governments to make sure that the vaccines are available to the public, because we say rabies vaccination is a public good. It's something that we have to do for the public to make sure we get rid of this disease.
The value of vaccinating dogs is because vaccinating dogs is very cheap compared to vaccinating humans. Because it costs up from 50 shillings to 100 shillings to vaccinate a dog every year. But it may cost you up to 10 to 15,000 to get 5 doses of the human vaccine, especially in the private sector. It's cost effective to vaccinate dogs. It's cheaper. It saves human deaths.
Kulikuwa kumetangazwa kuna watu watasunguka wakizidunga shindano. So that's why kijana wangu sasa vile anafanya hapa karibu. Ndio ilibidi mimi nikuje mapema nijue kama zimepata. So lazima walikuwa waanzie upande wa Motoine, Kerigo,
ndio wafike
hapa Jua Kali. Sasa hata saa hii umekuta mimi kichomoka hivi. Nilikuwa nafika hapa Jua Kali, je, pengine kama kesho Saturday watapika pande hii. So by the way pande hii laini yote iko mambo mingi sana.
So kuna wale wanatembea kudunga sindano.
Ilitangazwa kanisani sasa ile siku ya kila sehemu siku fulani kama ni paka kuna matibu na shindano itadungwa.
Ni nani wanadunga? Ni
watu wa KSPC I think. Yeah, lakini hawalipishi.
For awareness on how to manage dogs, one is required to get the services of professional dog handlers or dog breeders. Animal welfare organizations like the World Animal Protection, whose Africa office is based in Nairobi, and the Kenya Society for the Protection and Care of Animals, KSPCA, also play a key role in raising awareness. KSPCA is based in Karen and has branches in Mombasa and Naivasha.
And we run what we call spay and neuter campaigns. These are basically campaigns on neutering animals. This is a surgery that is done to stop dogs and cats from getting more puppies and kittens. So we do that as a way of reducing the stray animals that we see in the country.
Dog handling, dog vaccination, dog population management, all of these issues constitute the approach that we have been using. And we have vaccinated quite a number of dogs here in Kenya through our partnerships with county government like Makueni, the Kenya Veterinary Association, and other bodies who are well-meaning.
To manage dogs better, it is important to have statistics, yet the dog population in Kenya is unknown.
The numbers we have are normally from regional census or mini census or studies. So we know that in some areas like in Makueni, for every 5 to 7 people there's a dog. In areas like in Siaya, for every 8 people there's a dog. So using those statistics, you can actually say for every Kenyan, maybe for every 8 to 10 Kenyans there's a dog.
The dog population is currently estimated at I think about 100 million all over Africa. That's the estimated population. Now, if we coexist, humans coexist with dogs, and our population is projected to double, maybe it sounds to reason that the dog population will also double by that time. So imagine we don't treat our dogs seriously now when we have about 100 million. By the time we get 200 million dogs, it will be more serious.
On that note, we take a short commercial break. We have more on the dangers of poor handling of dogs in a moment. Welcome back. On this show today, we are discussing handling of dogs, better life for dogs, and why we should care. Statistics indicate that countries that have managed to eradicate rabies have a history of good management of dogs.
If you compare, for example, Kenya and a country like the UK where they have virtually no rabies, you'll see like in a country like the UK, you cannot walk outside your house with your dog unchained. But the minute you walk out of your gates outside Nairobi, you have the probability of encountering a roaming dog, and you do not know the status of this dog, you don't know who owns the dog. That's why we have a big problem with rabies, because of the way we treat and handle our dogs.
According to our strategy, the rabies elimination strategy, which is 2014 to 2030. And why 2030? 2030 is the global goal of eliminating rabies in the world. So the entire world, we want to eliminate human deaths from rabies by 2030. So the disease may still be in dogs, but we want to stop deaths, because every year there are about 60,000 deaths from rabies alone in the world. And so we want by 2030 to eliminate this disease in humans. So it means 0 human deaths by 2030. So as Kenya, we've adopted the same goal. And our main strategy is vaccinating dogs, because this is a dog disease. The disease starts from dogs.
It is against this background that the World Rabies Day is marked every year on the 28th of September.
So the World Rabies Day is a day that was set aside to bring focus and attention to rabies. Rabies is generally neglected in nature. It does not get the attention it deserved among our policymakers, among the country's leadership, and generally, most parts of the world, you find there's very little talk of rabies as compared to other diseases, like what we call the big three, as compared to things like malaria, HIV, and TB. So World Health Organization and other organizations that work with rabies decided to set aside a day to make the world remember there's a disease called rabies, and to bring it to attention the plight of the poor and the rural population that really gets affected by rabies.
This year, the theme of World Rabies Days is to share the message and save a life. That is the theme. Share the message, save a life. So if we share the message about dogs, why it's important to take care of dogs, why it's important to vaccinate them, we will be addressing the rabies problem, and you'll be saving a life. Every one of us, if we put our efforts together and build the movement, the world will be a better place. 2030, 0 deaths from rabies, it's achievable.
Last week the veterinary man came and he instructed us we are supposed to follow the procedure, which is coming back on 15th this month, to give us way forward. Yeah, we're in the process of inquiring the license for the dogs.
Mimi siwezi ona uzuri ya hizi umbwa. Kuna hata kwa security hakuna. Kwa sababu hii umbwa ni ya kuradarada mtaani. Hizi umbwa inaweza kukuuma. Ujui mwenyewe ni nani. Kama wewe mwenye umbwa, weka umbwa kwako. Juu utaishughulikia kama ni dawa na kuzuia isiume mtu kwa barabara. Lakini huwezi kusema umbwa ni yako na bado inatembea huko jiani.
Hizi ziumi zingekuwa zimetutoa hapa mbio. Hizi mpaka uchokoze ama kuwa mlevi. Na kama ikujui, hiyo itakutoa mbio.
So what should be done about stray dogs? Is the Kenya Society for the Protection and Care of Animals the place for such dogs?
We actually don't go around picking stray dogs. I know that's the notion that people think that we do. If we were to do that, we would have over 1,000 dogs in this place. Currently we have around 140 dogs at the shelter here, and already we are strained. Our resources are strained. This is financial, food and space, and even veterinary care, because we have to meet all those needs for the animals that we bring here. And we have to make sure that the animal is healthy and goes to a new home, basically what we call rehoming. So when we bring it here, you know, if it was sick, we make sure it's fully treated, vaccinated, we neuter it before it goes to a new home. So, you know, there are so many costs that we incur to take care of an animal from the time it comes in to the time it leaves. So we don't pick stray dogs. What we do, if a stray dog is maybe injured or looks very sick, that's when we come in and we pick it and we bring it here for treatment. Because, as I said, there are some dogs that you will see roaming on the streets, but they are not homeless. They are roaming and then in the evening they go home. So unless it's a situation where we know, we've worked at some schools where they say there's some dogs that come into our school compound and they pose a risk to the students. If it's a situation like that, we go in and we remove those dogs from the school. Yeah, but just dogs that are roaming on the streets, no, unless it's in distress.
Again, if one wants to keep a dog, it is advisable to get one from a professional breeder. KSPCA, on the other hand, deals with rehoming dogs that have been rehabilitated.
Yes, if one wants a dog, please come here. Don't buy dogs from the streets. Because those dogs that are sold in the streets, number one, are not vaccinated. So most of the time when people buy them and they take them home, the dogs come down with 1 or 2 diseases. And in the end, you end up spending so much money catering for the veterinary bill that will come along with that. We advise people come to KSPCA. You'll get a dog that is fully vaccinated and that is neutered at a really minimal cost of 8,000 shillings. And you'll be assured of a friendly dog, because we also make sure that the dogs that we rehome are friendly dogs that can relate well with children, and they'll be good family dogs.
We should be worried when we are around dogs that behave abnormally. Maybe they're excessively friendly and they were not like that before, or they fear people, they're fearful, or they have excessive salivation, or they bite people, which is the commonest that we know. So you'll see most of the dogs with rabies will bite people without provocation.
In conclusion, experts say better lives for dogs will eradicate the risks that come with poorly managed dogs. Dogs have rights and freedoms, and the key freedoms that should be enforced are freedom from hunger and thirst, freedom from discomfort, freedom from pain, injury, or disease, freedom to express normal behavior, and freedom from fear and distress.
Those animals don't need human beings. It is us who need them. We need them for hunting, we need them for security, we need them to get companionship from them. What really do these dogs take for benefit from us? All we need to do is to take care of them using those 5 freedoms.
That's all we had time for, and we are glad you found time to watch the show. But this discussion, Better Life for Dogs, continues next week. Find us in Makueni County, where area residents have received rare training on handling dogs. Until then, I'm your host, Alex Chamwada, and bye-bye for now.